And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Hey y'all, appreciate you guys spending a little bit more time with me. Was actually getting ready to put away cards that I had gotten or received in the mail this week from some eBay purchases, and figured, you know what, let's just turn on the camera and show you guys a few cards that I got and how they kind of fit into my collection. So I'll chat with you here in a minute, but for right now, let's just go ahead and spin this around and I'll show you a few cards. Okay, so I've got 7 cards I'm going to show you today. We're going to go by sport and year, and as we talk about them, I'll briefly explain how they fit into my collection. So obviously NBA, this is a Gus Johnson rookie card. This is from the 1969-70 set. By the way, that is that year specifically. There's probably 10 Hall of Famer rookie cards for that specific year. Both in the ABA and the NBA. But Gus Johnson, he was an ABA player at the time. Played for Baltimore and then I think for Phoenix. But, he's one of those Hall of Famers, probably lesser known than a lot. This card specifically was like $3 shipped. And so for that price point, it's tough. It's tough to complain about a card for that price point. Now, is it a card I'm going to have graded? Let me show you the back here. The answer is no, right? This card is, just a nice raw version to have in my collection. At best, it's probably a PSA 4. As you can tell, the centering right to left's a little bit off. Corners aren't perfect. But for $3, tell me, if you think of it in terms of, if this was a baseball card, an MLB card, for a 1960s Hall of Famer, your average 1960s Hall of Famer would be $50 for a raw version in that condition, right? Maybe $100. All right, moving on. This is a 76, 77 Topps. As you can see, this is that year when Topps made these giant cards. So the Gus Johnson's a tall boy. In this specific year, Topps made these giant cards. Now, these look kind of funky in holders and in PSA slabs, just because the slabs are so monstrous. But this is a really good card and maybe something that I do look to grade. But it's tough. Now, I bought this for about $20. It is very clean. Let me flip it over and show you the back. The centering's not bad. The corners aren't bad. There's no major, creases. There aren't any creases or any sort of, imperfections. The surface looks pretty good. So for $20, this is a really clean copy of this card. He is the only Hall of Famer in that specific year. So the good thing is because of the funky size, at least you don't have a ton of them sitting around, but pretty happy to get that in a raw version and maybe a grading candidate in the future. Next card is a card I'm pretty sure I already had, but when I looked at my list, it was showing as missing. This is a Jack Sigma rookie card, like 78, 79 Topps. Sigma is a Hall of Famer. So he fits clearly into my Hall of Fame collection. Again, not looking to have this one graded, not looking for a graded version of this, just trying to make sure that I have a raw version. And while I'm pretty sure this is sitting in a binder downstairs, pick this up for just a couple of bucks. If I have two versions of it, whatever. Let's skip over to baseball now. This one came in. Nolan Ryan, I'm a huge Nolan Ryan fan. When I got introduced to the sport in the late 80s, early 90s, both collecting and as a Babe Ruth Pee Wee baseball player, Nolan Ryan was one of the guys. And, somebody my dad turned me on to. My dad was a big fan of Nolan's. By that time, I think he had already moved on to the Rangers, but it was a big deal when he got his 5,000th strikeout. It was a big deal when he got his 7th no-hitter. How does this fit into my collection? I'm working on a 1970s decade set of just raw versions. I am looking for nice, clean versions with centering and decent corners. Picked this up for around $10 or maybe just slightly under or over, I forget. But this was a good copy, good clean card, and happy to push this one into my Nolan Ryan decade set. Next card really doesn't fit into my collection all that well, and I'll explain. I'm not an Ichiro collector necessarily, and I've already got what I would consider my registry card for his Hall of Fame induction to fit into my Hall of Fame registry. but Trout, Ichiro, and Pujols are three guys that I've just been targeting over the summer, trying to pick up additional versions of their rookie cards when I can. And this is a Topps. This is a Fleer Traditions card. I believe it's numbered out of 1500. So it's one of his few rookie cards that are serial numbered. And, not necessarily a cheap card, not the most expensive card in raw format, depending upon how well it looks. It sells for $25 to $40. But this is just a card, that kind of fits into, not really the collection, but just fits into, there are players that I like to add additional versions of their rookie cards. And as I mentioned, Trout, Ichiro, and Pujols are kind of three guys that I'm targeting right now. Got two more cards here for us. Sam Davis. A lot of people might scratch their head on this one, but I'd mentioned in the prior video, I am a Steelers fan, and I collect Steelers rookie cards for Hall of Famers and Steelers rookie cards for Ring of Famers, or Hall of Honors, I think is what they call it. So kind of their Ring of Fame, and Sam Davis was inducted this year. This was a card I was missing. Hall of Famers, I'm trying to get graded versions of the rookie cards. And Ring of Honor folks, I'm not necessarily trying to get them graded. I just want to have them in my collection. Sam Davis, good offensive guard back in the day. And, it's pretty awesome that he got recognized by the Steelers in their Ring of Honor this year. And so it's a card I needed for that set. Final card I have is a golf card. Jack Nicklaus, Jack's, if he's not the GOAT, which by the way, I don't think Tiger's going to get the majors record based upon his health at this point. So I think it's pretty much, signed, sealed, and delivered that Jack will have the majors record for the foreseeable future. But Jack's also getting up there in age. Now I do PC both Jack and Tiger. I've got, I don't go after every single insert card that they have, but a lot of the base cards, I've got the vast majority of the base cards of Jack going back to the 71 rookie, and kind of all those little subsets that came out, in the 70s and 80s, into the 90s when you had the pro sets, and then obviously when Upper Deck, Leaf, and the other brands came in and started producing golf cards. I PC Jack. I've got a good collection of Jack's cards. I actually already had this card. I picked it up because it was going for like $19. I just happened to see it randomly when I was searching out something else, or I think I was actually going through somebody's eBay store, and they had this at auction, and it was currently at $19. And I just thought that was undervalued. So I put like a $26 bid on it about a day before the auction ended. And I think I got it right at $26. So it was one of those ones. I didn't necessarily need it. Super happy to have it. I'm a big Jack fan. In my mind, he's going to continue to remain the GOAT. Not only his generational GOAT, but I still think that it's going to be tough to argue that Tiger's better than Jack when Jack's got the major record. So those are the cards that I got this week. I have about, a half a dozen cards coming in a bigger purchase. Not like an expensive purchase, just made a kind of a bulk purchase. Those hopefully are going to be in today. I think they're out for delivery. So, and then I've got another, call it half a dozen cards that are kind of in process, should have over the next week. So as soon as I get those, I'll throw out a third video, share with you guys what those look like, and we'll continue this journey. As I said last time, have a happy holidays, and we'll talk to everybody soon.